Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mo DeFrank Stadium and the District 1 playoffs, where Garnet Valley, the number 1 seed in District 1, PIAA, will be hosting the Quakertown Community High School Panthers, a 5-5, 16 seed. Undefeated last year in their regular season, did not lose a game until they came up against the Jaguars here at the Mo last season. Lost a lot of starters to graduation, much like Garnet Valley, but have had a bit of a different success path than the Jags this year, coming in here not undefeated. Greg, what's the key to all that?
You mentioned the turnover. Garnet Valley, very similar. Coach Van Wyk and Coach Banas, when they were talking after the seating meeting last weekend, were commenting about the similarities of the graduation rate and turning over 20 out of 22 starters and just trying to get the new guys acclimated to playing again. And the one thing is, if you look at the schedule, Quakertown started with a win against Southern Lehigh and then had a stretch of playing North Penn, CB West, and Plymouth Whitemarsh. All playoff teams, all very good football teams, and they took it in the chin. They lost all three. They gave up 155 points. Got outscored by 120, and they started to put it together. They started to do some things. You watch their games on film throughout the year. As the season went along, they became a little bit more fundamentally sound, taking care of the ball, taking care of blocks on the edge, and maintaining blocks downfield, giving them the ability to put up some points. So it's a better football team than that 5-5 record really indicates, the way they've played coming down the stretch.
Well, we're about to see for ourselves here as the 2022 district playoffs begin, the second season, if it were. But tonight's game sponsors, we have 3 of them this evening. Always proud of the support we get from our community members. Tonight's sponsors, S2 STEM, that does a lot of post-school programming and camps and different tutoring education around technology, robotics camps, etc. Of course, Century 21, the real estate store, longtime community members and supporters in the law offices of Diorio and Serini. Appreciate the support. We'll be hearing more about them later on. Heading out to the center of the field for the coin toss is the Garnet Valley Jaguars, the regular captains, number 1, Matt Mazzaros, number 51, Zach Myers, and number 60 is Kieran Gallagher. Joining them out there tonight is number 12, Kevin Green, the senior wide receiver. Representing Quakertown is number 4, John Etherton, the running back, number 24, Brett Heilman, and number 66, Vincent Pellegrino. So as you can see, Quakertown won the toss and deferred. The Jags will receive, and Quakertown is choosing to defend the east end zone. Great camera work here on this, right down at field level for the.
Yeah, every year these productions get a little bit more advanced, and the one thing that everywhere I see people in the community when they talk about the streams talk about that new camera.
We're going to take a break here for the national anthem, and we'll listen in on the Garnet Valley Band. As we get ready to go here, the Jaguars will be on offense. And last few weeks, Jags working on getting some guys healthy. And good news from the trainer's office this week. Correct, Greg? Got mostly healthy squad?
Yeah, for the most part. There's a couple of guys banged up, still working on some lingering issues that'll have them back. But Drew Bledsoe, I'm doing the same thing you did last week. Dylan Bledsoe is back as sort of the staple of that O-line and D-line, which the Jags have been without for a while. So having him back in the mix is great. Kai Lopez was back last week. Tim Comers, those guys both still healthy. And the Jags are really close to being full strength. So see this interesting kickoff. You'll see the look when they Quakertown spreads out and has 5 and 5 way out to the sidelines, and they run them in at the kicker. It's actually pretty functional because it makes it difficult for the blockers for Garnet Valley to pick out exactly who they're going to block, and it gets them a running head start. But it looks unconventional.
And we're underway here. Oh, that ball mishandled. Picked up around the 10. Brought up almost to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, ball hard out to the sideline like there. Minjoni had to run a pretty good ways, 15, 20 yards to get out there to try and catch it, and just didn't get clean hands on it. And Quakertown was able to get down on him. Where do they have the ball? At the 19, inside the 20.
Yep. That was Jacob Wackerman, number 18, doing the kicking for Quakertown. So Mazzaros brings this offense that's averaging 37 points a game and over 380 yards. Pitch out right away. And good for a first down. Big pickup for number 36, Jason Bernard. Picked up about 11 yards and a first down for the Jaguars. So 1st and 10 at the Jaguar 31-yard line. This give again to Bernard. Up the middle for, looks like 7. 2nd and 3 for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mentioned that 3-game stretch early in the season for the Panthers where they played North Penn, CB West, and Plymouth Whitemarsh, and those teams put up huge numbers offensively, points and yardage, and a lot of it was being able to get on the edge, the outside play, the toss, and the sweep. So look to see if the Jags try and take advantage of that as well.
This is Lararis on some sweep action, and he's got the first down and more. Gets up across the 50-yard line into Coatesville, Quakertown territory.
We're all over the place tonight. Yeah, Ronnie Lararis playing at sniffer right now for the Jaguars at that slot back spot. Just gets it outside, gets to the sideline, picks up a decent chunk of yardage. And again, that's the Jaguars just thinking they can seal that outside edge and get their backs outside. We'll see if that plays out.
Nice job there following the tight end, Jake McDowell, as a lead blocker on that one. And Mazzaros looking to throw, and he gets it out. Is this
Lararis?
Lararis. And Lararis inside the 30.
The voice of the Valley wheel route.
Yep. Well executed, good protection, good play action, and another first down.
Yeah, that Panther defense, they just didn't account for Lararis coming out of the backfield.
And this goes to Bernard up the middle, and he's down inside the 10, still up and grinding, but they blow the whistle. He's out of bounds. Out of bounds just outside the 10. So it's going to be another first down. First and 10, they can get a first down at the 1 yard line. Mazzaros on the keeper, and he fights his way. He's in for a touchdown. Number 1, Matt Mazzaros, the quarterback captain, 5'8", 165, pulls that one out of Jason Bernard and takes it himself.
That was just option. He made the right read, pulled, and then just good field vision, cutting it back inside. Good blocking up front, good read, good finish by Massaro.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Comer's on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up. Kick is good. So with 10 minutes left to go in this first quarter, the Jaguars lead 7-0 on an 81-yard drive.
Yeah, and Quakertown obviously won the toss and deferred and wanted to get the ball to start the second half, but they certainly didn't anticipate giving up an 81-yard drive in 2 minutes.
Yeah. That touchdown brought to you by Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon. Locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City, Philadelphia. Our defensive big play sponsor is the Garnet Valley Football Alumni Class of 85 in memory and honor of Joseph Albany Jr. Comer's on to do the kicking. Good kick. Fielded at the 8. And being returned, that's up across the 25 to beyond the 30. Run out of bounds just past the 35 is number 18.
And there's a flag thrown at the 40, 30. Well, he threw it at the 42. He just moved it to the 35, but hold.
So holding on the return is
back him up to the 25.
Yeah, that'll take a little punch out of that good return by Jacob Wackerman.
Yeah, he's had a couple of nice returns. You watch on film the games that were exchanged between the teams, and he's had a handful of really nice returns.
So this Garnet Valley defense that is only giving up 7 points a game on average gets their first action of the evening. And a straight up handoff up the middle. Decent gain, pickup of about 5 will make it 2nd and 5 for the Panthers on the Panther 30-yard line. Up front again for your Jaguars is any combination of, I think it's Dylan Bledsoe in there with Kieran Gallagher and Weisendanger, Drew Van Horn and Jake McDowell, the outside backers. And the quarterback, McCucci, will keep it himself, and he gets close to the first down, but he's going to be a yard short. So it's going to be 3rd and 1. This give, and a
Great play by Van Horn.
yeah, comes up and makes a stop.
Well, first decision for Coach Bannis.
They,
4th and almost a whole yard.
yeah, they don't appear to be thinking about it too long here. They're going to go for it and see what they dial up. Same play to Etherton this time, and he's got enough for the first down.
As a 16 seed coming in with that 5-5 record, you wonder if thinking they need to make plays and capitalize on every drive comes into play in their thinking. So
Masucci back to pass, little pressure, overthrown. Pass intended for number 87, Max Morris. Decent coverage, a little bit of pressure by the Jaguars in the middle. So in the middle, linebacking for the Jags, you see Joe Cecchio, and it's number 17, Nick Romanello in there. Kai Lopez, one of the corners. Lassick would be the other side. Here's another run off the left side. And the rugby scrum stops right there for a short gain. 3rd and long for Quakertown. Wackerman split to the top of your screen. Spread twins here. And Masucci looking to throw. He's being chased by Romanelli. He gets one off downfield. It's complete to Etherton. And he's going to go in for a touchdown. Huge play right there. 62-yard touchdown completion to John Etherton.
yeah, Romanello came up the middle with the pressure.
Yep.
Well thrown ball. Masucci looks like he saw the pressure coming, rolled out, got himself out of the pocket, and just threw a perfect strike to Etherton coming across the field over top.
And the kick is good by Wackerman. And we got a tie ball game here with 6:53 to go in the first quarter.
Ball game right out of the gate.
Yep.
Well, both teams capitalize on their first possession now. Now you start to settle in, see coordinators on both sides start to make adjustments. See how this second possession goes for the Jags.
Yep.
We have a quick shout out tonight to one of Garnet Valley's coaches who was unable to attend this week, home recovering from a illness. Coach Craig Stevenson, who coaches the SPACs. Your boys were asking for you and making sure that we gave you a shout out. Hope you're feeling better, Coach Craig. Hang in there. Can't wait to see you back in the mix when you're feeling better.
So Wackerman on to kick. It's Minjoni and
Dean Kohler.
Dean Kohler back deep for the Jaguars. This one a knuckler. One hopped by Minjoni. Comes up, and he's met right away at the 25-yard line. Good coverage by Quakertown. So the Jags will start their second possession about 5 yards past their starting point of their first possession. Garnet Valley's offensive line all back intact this week. Left tackle, Matt Wiesendanger. Guard, Kieran Gallagher. Center, Dylan Bledsoe. David Dorff, the guard on the right side with Vince Manna, the tackle. And a pitch out. Good for about 5. 2nd and 5. Of course, your tight ends, Jake McDowell and Drew Van Horn.
Garnet Valley continues to run that toss, trying to get outside.
Oh, this goes the second man through, and he's up across the 50, the 40, and he's wrestled down inside the 25-yard line of Quakertown. This is Joe Cecchio, double dive.
You talk to defensive coordinators who don't play against the split back veer and see double dive very often. It's the one thing they say is the most difficult thing for defenses, specifically their linebackers, to stay disciplined and read your keys. It's almost like playing the wing T, which is to not get your eyes in the backfield, but to just read your keys, and you see that. Cecchio came through that hole like a missile.
Oh, pitch out, and they lost the handle on this one. And a big tackle for a loss by number 20, Gavin Carroll. So,
well, after the big play, now you put yourselves back in
2nd and 18.
2nd and a lot of yards.
Kevin Green to the bottom of your screen. And a quick completion to Green, and he's run out of bounds at the 20-yard line for a pickup of about 11.
He picked up all the lost yardage and some, so now makes it 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8, yep.
And certainly 2 down territory down here, or even the potential field goal opportunity if you don't pick up much yardage here on 3rd down.
Yeah, very calm and warm night by November standards, only in the mid-60s and no wind to speak of. And Mazzaros looks over the top. He's got Van Horn. It's complete down to the 5-yard line for a Garnet Valley 1st down.
They only needed 1 yard. I mean, 1 play.
Yeah. So 16-yard completion from Mazzaros to Van Horn.
Yeah, and Etherton at that safety spot realizes he did a nice job of staying home on the seam at the hash mark there, and Mazzaros does a really good job of just getting that ball out of his hands quick and getting it to Van Horn before he can get over there.
Cecchio and Bernard in the backfield. Both tight ends in, a tight formation. And this goes to Cecchio, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yep, and there's that second back through.
Yep.
You just see the linebackers from Quakertown just don't see it. They're not picking up the action in the backfield. And they're all jumping on the initial dive. You see Bernard come through here and watch the linebacker action.
Yeah.
And they just get the down block from Van Horn, and it just creates that lane. So that's certainly something Quakertown's defensive staff's going to have to try and figure out, because they're not getting up on it right now. Those backers are biting on that first fake.
Oh, going to decline this, or?
You see Coach Van Wyk saying no thanks. We'll stay right where we are. Got some interesting rule explanations this week on extra points and field goals.
Yep. Kick is up and good. I'm intrigued.
So you see all the time in college football, the holders, one of the most common fake field goals and fake extra points is the holder catches the ball and then just flips it over his shoulder to the kicker, who then either runs or throws it to a receiver downfield. It is not allowed in high school football. So the holder down in his stance with a knee down on the field, if he does anything, he can't pitch it forward to a back coming across. He can't throw it laterally over his shoulder behind him while he's down, or he's down where his knee is down. The only play a holder can make in high school football with the ball is if he comes out of his stance and makes a move. He's got to be upright to advance the ball either way.
Can he do that after he catches the ball, or does he have to?
He can. So,
Okay.
yeah, he can catch it with his knee down and then stand up. And they can also come out of their stance to catch it, come off his knee, catch it, and go back down to a knee to get it down for the spot without being considered down, unlike punters whose knees down is down.
Right.
But they can't advance the ball either laterally behind them or throw a forward pass unless they come up out of their stance.
All right. Learn something every day. Comer's to kick. It's another good one. Down to the 10. This one fielded by number 17.
No, 87.
Oh, 87. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's Max Morris.
Yep. Max Morris on the return. Does not quite make the 20-yard line. Good coverage by the Jaguars. 1st and 10 on the 19 for Masucci and the Panthers. 4 minutes and 5 seconds still remaining in this first quarter. Morris split to the top of your screen. This give up the middle. And the Jaguars, middle of their defense, right there for a pickup of maybe one. 2nd and 9 for the Panthers. Romanello in there has been getting a lot of time since Logan Hamilton, the leading tackler, has been, I guess, continuing recovery.
This is obviously just one of 8 6A District 1 first-round games. We'll try and get you some score updates throughout the night on those.
Masucci, looking for Morris out in the flat, but
He had him.
Yep, just kind of maybe turned his head upfield a little too quick, and ball's incomplete. 3rd and 8 for Quakertown.
Yeah, 3rd and 8 from their own 21 probably isn't the situation they want to be in. No team does, but Quakertown does not want to have Masucci back there for too long in that pocket, knowing that the Jags are going to try and come after him as they do here.
And he rolls out, gets the pass off, and a
Spectacular
great
catch if he caught it. Yes, he did.
And a pickup of about 10 for a first down.
I think it's 18 Wackerman, right?
Yep.
Wow. That's a heck of an effort.
It almost looked like Garnet Valley had some pressure, but they were a little surprised at how easy it was and maybe hesitated looking for a screen, but good completion by Masucci for the first down. And he rolls out to his left this time. He's being chased. He gets one off. And a great hand on that play by number 2, Drew Van Horn, to break that up. That was going to be a completion to number 16, Adam Streel. Wow.
Yeah, Van Horn did a nice job. He was staying flat, so he had contain if he tucked the ball and ran there. And he was sort of caught in no man's land in between contain for the run versus dropping into coverage, and he was able to get back and just disrupt that enough with that deflection to keep the catch from happening.
This time another running play up the gut. This will bring us a 3rd down.
One of the more interesting 6A District 1 first-round matchups is a rematch from last week of CB West versus CB East. So it's always the big rivalry game in Week 10 between the two Buck schools. West won 21-14 last week, and they get to play it again this week.
Yeah.
West currently leads that game 7-0 after the first quarter.
Masucci under pressure, but gets one off. Throws it out of bounds. Very poised back there. A lot of patience
Yeah,
6'1", 185.
he's done a nice job of using his feet just to give himself space, get himself out of the pocket, get himself up inside the pocket when it gets collapsed on him, and he's been able to get some balls off with all kinds of Garnet Valley bodies around him on D, but
And some solid arm strength, too. I believe he does the punting for Quakertown as well. He's just a junior. Short snap.
nice punt.
And a huge punt
Holy moly.
that rolls out of bounds inside the Garnet Valley 20.
They mark it right at the 20, 30, and the 18, 58-yard punt.
Darn.
That's how you flip the field.
Yeah. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The Jaguars holding that 14-7 lead. Guess we'll call that Drew Van Horn pass breakup, first down saving pass breakup, our first Garnet Valley football alumni class of 85 defensive play of the game. Mazzaros, the quick pitch. And this is Bernard. Picks it up, picks up the first down.
Let's see the block. If Ronnie Larreris is out here on the edge, get you a piece there. Oh, he actually misses just a little bit, but enough. He got it just enough of 14.
Yeah, gave him enough for the first down. You see him
Reagan Payne, yeah, he got
clap his hands at the end. It could have been a
just enough to let Bernard get outside.
And this one to Checchio, the second man through. Oh,
He's
ball
down.
comes out.
I think he was down.
Down. He got it.
Yeah, the side
I'm
judge.
glad he popped right up. He got an awkward hit there at the end.
He's rolling that shoulder. Oof.
Got the Malachi crunch.
Yeah, he was down, but whew. Interesting score update. Downingtown West leads Conestoga 7-0 after the first quarter.
So Jags with another first down here at their 44-yard line. And Mazzaros play action, looking to throw. He tucks it and runs this time. And he's good for the first down. Picks up about 11 on first down. And gets inside Quakertown territory for another first down for Garnet Valley at the 45-yard line of Quakertown. He sits in there, not the biggest quarterback, 5'8", 165, and got all those big guys in front of him. He saw the parting of the sea and said, I'm going up here. Here's the option, and he's sniffed out and taken down quickly.
Hey, see.
What was that?
It's just the A-gap blitz from the middle linebacker.
Number 20, Gavin Carroll, coming up to make that play. Second and 12 for the Jags. And Mazzaros keeps, and he's across the 30, down to the 20, and he's wrestled down inside the 15 at about the 13-yard line. That time looked like he made himself the second guy through. Or a very tight option there.
What's the flag? They just threw a flag on the Garnet Valley sideline.
Maybe they don't know the grandfathered COVID rule of being able to go down to the 10.
Oh, sideline warning on Garnet Valley. And we'll switch ends. Oh, the referees aren't going to like this.
No, this is one of those long ones. So the The first quarter ends with the Jaguars leading 14-7 and driving here as we will pick up play in the second quarter. Want to say hi to our regulars out there. We know Don Mink is listening and watching wherever he is, Sea Isle or Thornbury. Ruth Ann Wenner, always tuning in. Jerry and Pat Demling, Bill Biddle, Rich Castafaro, Tom Widley, who's I think getting ready to make a speech to a bunch of Marines in California. Stan Solomon in Florida, Mitch Bernstein in North Carolina, from the Burn with Mitch. Matt Mazzaris' uncles, Uncle Sam and family in Georgia, Uncle Bill in Florida, and of course our friends at the Concordville Inn streaming the game, and down the street at Ashley's as well. This give off the left side here to Checchio. Picks up a good chunk, makes it 2nd and 2. Pickup of 8 on first down. There's a pitch out to Checchio, and he's in for the touchdown. Good cutback off the left side of the line. And another score for the Jaguars. And a second touchdown for Joe Checchio.
Yeah, the Jaguar running backs do a really nice job of, you can see, he just puts his foot in the ground, cuts right back up inside that block. Roman Panarello, number 30 there with a block inside, able to seal that lane. And Checchio steps right up inside that block.
Comer's on for the extra point. Ooh, little pressure off the corner, but calm, cool, and collected, and a 3 for 3 for Comer's on the extra points. Jaguar lead 21-7. That touchdown brought to you by Joseph Anthony Retreat, Spa and Salon. So busy day here at Garnet Valley. Of course, the opening round of the district playoffs, but also the Garnet Valley Performing Arts Club has a show taking place in the auditorium now. The Adams Family, I believe, is in production through the weekend. A lot of excitement yesterday. The Lady Jags volleyball winning the District 1 tournament in a very tight 5-game match against our old, long time ago rival Unionville.
Yeah, Unionville, a very, very good volleyball team. They won it 3-2. Now move into the States as essentially the 1 seed out of District 1.
Comer's kick, Max Morris on the return, gets it up to about the 30.
I was talking with Garnet Valley Athletic Director Seth Brunner earlier today, and looking at the bracket, looks like there's a chance if Garnet Valley were to survive their first round matchup, which would be home as the higher seed early in the week, that their second round matchup would potentially be a rematch, a Central League rematch with Lower Merion, who's also a very good volleyball team.
This give to Etherton, but he's tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for 2 yards, 2nd and 8.
The security staff must be on strike in the press box. And they're letting anybody in here.
Masucci on the keeper. I don't know if that was planned or a miscommunication, but tackled in the backfield for a loss of 3.
I think the design is that fake toss to try and get the Garnet Valley linebackers out. Oh, yeah, that's straight. That's just a fake toss. 24 jumps like he's ball's thrown over his head. He would have been better served to actually toss it.
Drew Van Horn did a nice job coming off that edge and closing down. 3rd and a long 12. Masucci to throw. He gets it off, and it's complete, but short of the first down.
But
Good
close
to Max Morris.
Close enough with, 4th and 2 at their 40. I mean, they went for it on their first possession on 4th and 1 inside their 35, and they don't appear to be even giving it a second thought. Down 14.
It was Drew Van Horn on the coverage and the tackle. So make it 4th and 2.
See the Jag Nation crowd trying to get loud down there, all in their Phillies gear. It's a Phillies theme for the Jag Nation faithful in the stands here at the Mo.
Bittersweet night last night with the Eagles going 8-0 against the Texans, but Phillies losing that game. Just good for the rain, and the networks reached out to us and made Friday the travel day because they didn't want to compete with this District 1 playoff football action.
They did. They were worried about losing spectators. Take this timeout break, see if we can get some scores on out-of-town action for you.
So the timeout taken, Quakertown needs to dial up their 4th and 3 play. The Jags need to be patient and not jump. And this is a rollout by Masucci, and he's tackled in the backfield.
Wow, that is a heck of a play by Drew Van Horn.
Yeah, Van Horn from the linebacker spot.
Gets off the block. Gets himself upfield and does not make a mistake on that tackle in the open field.
So the Jaguars get the turnover on downs, and the direct result is a short field, 35 yards to the end zone. And this is Mazzaros looking to throw, trying to get it all at once. It's complete. And is that Van Horn or
No, Mingione.
Yeah. Luke Mingione. Under pressure a little bit, hit as he gets rid of the ball.
That's a nice job by Maceras. I mean, at the last second, you could see he sensed that pressure coming. He didn't see it until that moment, and he was able to get rid of the ball just in time, put it right on Mingione's hands. So Jags now inside the 10.
Yep, 1st and goal at the 9 for Garnet Valley. And the Jags use a timeout. A little confusion there on personnel. Checking in and out.
The Jaguars like to go heavy. They go heavy on offense where they go double tight end. They have an extra blocking back in the C gap. And it looks on that as if they just had an extra player or they weren't sure which backs were supposed to be in. So they do the smart thing. Rather than taking a 5-yard penalty and being in a goal-to-go situation from the 14,
once again, thank our game sponsors, S2 STEM, Century 21, the real estate store, and the law offices of Diorio and Serini. really fortunate to have so many members of the community that are willing to support not just what we do up here and being able to bring these games to you, but everything associated with this, not just the football team, but the whole Garnet Valley community. And here's a give to Minjoni in the middle. Pickup of about 3. Call it 2nd and goal. And ball's on the 6. 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. This give is to Checchio, and he's driving and keeping the pile moving. Oh, and he's in for the touchdown. Wow. Talk about a sustained effort on that play, Greg.
Yeah, he refuses to keep. He refuses to move. He keeps his legs churning, keeps pushing, and then you just see the pile come up behind.
So Checchio's 3rd touchdown of the night for the Jags. Comers comes out to make this a 3-touchdown lead. Kick is up. Kick is good. 4 for 4 for Comers.
Joe Checchio with his 3rd touchdown of the night. He came into the game as the 2nd leading touchdown scorer for the Jags with 8 on the season behind his backfield mate Jason Bernard, who came into the game with 9 touchdowns. So he's now up to 11 on the season, and that one was certainly well earned.
Yeah. I guess we got to give another defensive play of the night award to the Jags on the strength of that 4th down stop by number 2 Drew Van Horn, the class of '85 Garnet Valley football alumni.
And if you watch that play, when we watch the replay, it's you can't overstate the play that Van Horn made, because if Masucci gets around him there, if Van Horn doesn't make that tackle, he had all kinds of room out on the edge. Would have for sure picked up the 1st down and had plenty of room to pick up additional yardage. Instead, it gives the Jags a short field, and now they're up 21.
Comer's on to kick. Kicks one this one down on the left. And this is Morris bringing it up. Oh, and he's swallowed up across the 20 at around the 24-yard line.
Interesting little cat and mouse game between Quakertown and Garnet Valley's kickoff and kickoff return units. They obviously want number 87, Max Morris, returning the ball. He was their big hitter throughout the course of the season, and they've been moving Morris to the same side as Comers, whether that's the right hash or the left hash, and putting him on the side where they assume that the Jags are going to kick the ball, and so far they've been 4 for 4, guessing. But the Jaguars have done a really nice job of covering it.
Morris is a 5'11", 155-pound junior. Masucci on the pitch out to Etherton, and he is swallowed up on the outside again with Drew Van Horn having a monster game at outside linebacker here, still with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, he's giving them all kinds of problems. They're trying to get outside shoulder on him and seal that edge and just turn him inside, and he's such a good athlete. He's just out racing the blocks and getting himself outside leverage.
Quakertown calls a timeout.
Quaker State,
That
Quaker
gives
time.
us-
I apologize for the lack of scores out of town. I can't find anybody covering any of the other games outside of a couple. Looks like CB West now has a 14-0 lead in the second quarter on CB East in that other Suburban 1 League rematch, District 1 first-round game that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the game of interest for this audience, whether Quakertown or Garnet Valley, is the 8 and 9 matchup between Springford and Ridley, taking place tonight, because whoever wins that one will face the winner of this one. Masucci swings it out this time to Morris, looks for room, picks up a little, gets the lost yardage back, and then a couple.
You just throw it out there on the airwaves, Pat. I just got a text from one of the greatest athletic directors in the country at the high school level, and he comes from good blood.
Let me guess. Conestoga.
Kevin Peachin up there at Conestoga gave me an update on his Conestoga Pioneers. They're down 14-0 to Downingtown West in that first round game.
Masucci back to pass, throws a slant pattern over to Max Morris, who catches it at the 30, but landed a little awkwardly. A little slow to get up, but he looks okay. And that'll bring out the punting unit for Quakertown.
I just got to check in from former Jag player, former Jag coach Jack Pulte, who's out in Utah watching us. I'm guessing it's a West Coast 3-hour time difference.
Oh, so we have a Jack Westberg appearance.
It's a sighting.
On the punt return. Good to see him back in uniform and on the field, but that ball kicked out of bounds, and looks like we had two receivers back there.
Yeah, Van Horn and Westberg. Jags usually in that setup are almost in a safe punt. They don't want to let the ball get by the single returner, so they put two out there to guard against the sidelines of the ball bouncing short and getting through, at least keep the ball in front of them. Didn't have to worry about it on that one.
Lone back in the backfield, and Mazzaro swings it out. It's complete to Mingione, or is that Loraris?
Yeah, it's Luke Mingione. He did a nice job of hanging on to that ball. It was a good throw by Maceros to avoid, I think, the defensive end. Yeah, who got his hands up. But Mingione wrangles that ball in and picks up some extra yards. There is an injured Panther on the field.
Yeah, 20-yard pickup and a first down for the Jaguars, but player down on the field, which would have been in the offensive backfield of Garnet Valley. We hope he's okay.
The matchup that the Jags have next week, assuming they can maintain this lead, up 21 now with the ball, driving late here in this first half, the Jags will get the winner of the Springford 8 seed and Ridley 9 seed. Let's try and see if we can get an update on that game. Springford's plays up there in that Pac-10. Very good team, 7-3 on the season. Ridley obviously also 7-3. Makes sense that they would be the 8-9 matchups. Jaguars obviously have familiarity with Ridley as a Central League opponent. They'd won previous matchup back in, I don't even know the year, probably 2012-ish up there at Springford. A game that Springford was able to win in advance. They're really tending it. It looks like they're looking at his right shoulder, maybe. You see Garnet Valley's 2 trainers, Brandon and Hillary out there. Opportunity with this injury to talk about all the various people, the managers, the trainers that put in just countless hours to ensure that we pull off practice every day, we pull off these games, whether it's training equipment, water, Gatorade, tape, you name it, ice packs, whatever's required. Garnet Valley's managerial staff is at practice every day, long before the players come on the field. They're the last ones off the field. The trainers are here in the training room hours after practice, many days, because they don't just treat the football players. They obviously have both soccer teams, girls and boys, cross country, field hockey, volleyball, football, tennis. So the amount of athletes that come in and out of that training room is substantial, and they do a really nice job. They're also joined by the middle school trainer, Kristen, who's on the sideline tonight but comes for the football game. She manages the athletic training over at GVMS, but she's here on the sidelines on Friday nights.
Yeah, it's really an operation to just keep all the balls in the air, so to speak, for these things. Oh, that's great to see. That's Edward Bittner, number 3, I believe. Yeah, number 3.
He is in pain.
Yeah, but he's walking off under his own strength. It looks like it is. Kind of got that one shoulder or the arm bent. Usually means a shoulder. So after that little break, the Jags will get back at it with 5 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the half. 1st and 10 at the Quakertown 35. Oh, a lot of, boy.
There was something wrong with the timing on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion there.
Maceros opens up to have a ride on like the dive read, and nobody comes through. I don't know whether the backs realized what the call was. See Bernard and Sacramandi both kind of looking at like, what happened there?
I think it might have been that double dive, and looked like maybe first guy through was a little late getting out of the stance and led to a bit of a traffic jam there. A loss of 1 for the Jags, so 2nd and 11.
Looks like Coatesville is up 8-0 in their game. CB West now has a 21-0 lead on CB East. So to all my friends and family out there that are sending me updates, keep them coming if you can. I'm going to take this time out as the Jags give a special shout-out of sorts to a homeward bound type of story in the Garnet Valley football family. Current player Christian DeTrolio and former Jaguars Sam and Jake DeTrolio had a situation in the family the last few weeks where 13 days ago their family dog Max, an Australian Shepherd, wandered off the property and disappeared. And for 13 days there were sightings of him all around the community, various spots here and there. And a lot of people sort of gave up hope after a period of time, and we got word earlier today that Max wandered home 13 days later and just wandered home. According to Dad, Dr. Bob DeTrolio, Max just kind of wandered home and kind of gave them an, hey, I'm back look. So a good ending to a fairly stressful story for the DeTrolio. So welcome home, Max.
And Mazzaros looks to throw, completes the pass. Pickup of about 6.
Chris Faith,
number 28, the other wide receiver.
just got a score update from Ridley from that Ridley Springford game. It looks like Ridley is up 20-14 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half there.
here comes the jet sweep. Good pursuit, but a better run by Lararis, and he's bumped out of bounds at around the 20. Good enough for a first down.
And Quakertown had it. They had it played pretty well, but Lararis he's quick. His speed is deceptive. Both he and Westberg, who play that slot position, are both members of the Jaguars 4x1 relay team for the track team in the spring. And he showed his speed there. He just outraced them to the corner and was able to pick up enough yards for the first down.
This give looks like Bernard. Yep. Oh, and he makes it to the end zone. Shakes off his tackle and just kept the legs moving into the end zone for a 20-yard touchdown run.
He's tired of Checchio getting all the touchdowns and taking the team lead. He wanted his own.
Etherton had the only shot at him, but he was hanging on to Jersey, and the bus was just had another stop to make.
Yes, it did.
Comer's on for the extra point to make this a 28-point lead for Garnet Valley. Kick is up. Kick is good.
So after last week's 6-for-6 effort by Tim Comers, he's now 5-for-5 tonight. So after missing most of the season with that knee injury that sidelined him from both soccer and football, he's now 11-for-11 kicking extra points since his return from that injury. So good to see him out there. Good to see him having some success.
A couple of shout-outs by way of our excellent cameraman, Goody Marcuson. Shout out to Mikey and Dom. And also watching Matt Mazzaros to the Whitesides, the Gordons, the Laytons, and the Malots, watching from Needmore, PA. I don't know where Needmore is.
Need less.
And and also, this is a loaded one here. The Van Horns are also watching. There's like 100 of them. So, welcome, whoever it is.
Looks like Coatesville's now taking a 15-0 lead in their game against Downingtown East.
This kick splits.
Touchback for the kid.
Bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Bounces through the end zone for a touchback.
First touchback of his kicking career for Tim Comers.
So that'll bring it out to the 20 with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first half.
His kickoff unit coaches, Coach Chris Quittens and Coach Jeff Hill, be very happy about that touchback, as will his kicking coach.
Masucci looking to go long, looking for Etherton. Oh, it falls incomplete. Had him on the...
Yeah, I think he just gets distracted. Jags had coverage underneath and over top. Kai Lopez out there and Minjoni, and it just looked like Etherton kind of lost the ball in between the two of them. Oh. The return of Westberg. You see Jack Westberg now checked in at safety for Will Snyder. And a little bit of an upset action going on. North Penn's up 14-0 on Pennsbury at the half.
And this is Etherton on the carry. He picks up, looks like 4, 3rd and 6. Clock running under 3:18 to go in the half. Didn't get a chance to air Greg's conversation with Coach Van Wyck prior to the game. We kind of jumped right in before the coin toss and kickoff. Masucci fakes and unloads it, gets it out to Morris. who's good for the first down and a little bit more. Pickup of about 17 there.
Yeah, I think it's Minjoni has a shot at him, but kind of tries to take a kill shot and just misses. It is. Yeah, Morris does a nice job. He just gets outside the tackle attempt from Minjoni and was able to pick up the extra yardage.
So the ball at the 40, 2 minutes and 34 seconds left to go, or 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in the half. And Masucci looking, floating. Oh, almost intercepted.
Lassick almost looked like the intended receiver there. He was running like he was.
Looks like the intended receiver was Adam Streel, but Lassick had a better shot at catching that than anybody. That brings up a 2nd and 10.
Conestoga cut the lead out there at Kottmeyer Stadium. That's now a 14-7 game.
Masucci rolls to his right.
He's in trouble.
He's in trouble. And the
Ball.
ball's out, and it's scooped. It's going to be a scoop and score for number 7, Joe Cecchio.
Hey, he's scoring all kinds of ways, isn't he?
Yeah. Wow, what a play.
And it's interesting. The Jaguar defense, when they run team defense at practice, they do this very drill, which is one guy's making the tackle and everybody else has to have eyes on the ball, how well they scoop it and get going, and that was done almost to perfect execution.
I think that was a number 50 Vince Manna on the strip, and the scoop by number 7 Cecchio and score. That also a class of 85 Garnet Valley football alumni defensive play of the game. Comer's on for a very important extra point. Kick is up, and it's good. So 42-7 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the half. If this score remains the same, we would have a running clock for the second half. That's a 35-point lead that the Jaguars hold right now.
CB West is now starting to pour it on CB East. It's 28-0 at halftime. Yeah, but we mentioned it earlier in the season. This is a big defensive possession for the Jaguars late in this first half going into halftime. We've talked about it throughout the season. That 35-point differential will, if it holds up until halftime, will ensure a running clock in the second half, which is advantageous to the team that's up because it lets them get a bunch of their starters out, gets them rested, avoids injury, gets us out of here sooner. Nice kick by Comers.
Yep. Max Morris brings it up across the 25.
Looks like Westberg back in there at safety again for Snyder. A little bit quicker of a safety than Will Snyder. Will Snyder's a fundamentally sound tackler and cover guy. Westberg's probably just a little bit more fleet of foot, so figuring with the short time that Quakertown's going to be airing it out.
Masucci rolls out, unloads one, looking for Morris. Oh! Kind of on his back hip, but not able to come up with that one.
Was, in fact, Jack Westberg in coverage downfield. Ooh, he stumbles, and Morris, almost like Morris just lost track of the ball.
Yeah, he had a chance at it.
With Westberg kind of falling underneath the route.
Correction, the ball at the 21, not the 25.
Yeah, you were close.
Second and long. And this goes underneath.
With delayed draw.
Yep. And good enough for the first down for.
And not a terrible idea for Quakertown. It allows the clocks will stop while the chains get reset, but it also allows them to a fresh set of downs to try and get vertical.
That time rolling out under pressure. Good coverage by the Garnet Valley secondary. That one just thrown out of bounds. So it'll be second down and 10. Masucci unloads it underneath, but Joe Cecchio right there to make a big tackle. Number 24, Heilman, the receiver. Oh, good form tackle. 3rd and 11. Masucci looks to the sideline and overthrows Max Morris for 4th and 11.
Yeah, Garnet Valley got lucky there. Cornerback Tyler Lassick, junior quarterback, was getting some instruction from the sideline, I think, on how they wanted the corners and safeties to play on that play. And he was still getting instruction as the ball was snapped, so he was sort of scrambling to get back into position. But that errant pass made it so that it wasn't an issue. Same as last time, you see Garnet Valley has both Van Horn and Westberg back deep, likely just protecting against the 58-yard punt like last time.
Van Horn fields that one at the Jaguar 35, and we see some substitutions coming in for Garnet Valley along the offensive line.
The Jaguar parents are so instrumental to the support of the program, and some work and can't make games, and I know are tuning in, watching, and some are not able to join us just for health reasons. I want to wish Ronnie Lararis' dad, well. I know he's home not feeling well and not able to attend tonight, so hopefully you're enjoying the stream tonight. Getting to see Ronnie run a little bit at slot back.
Uh-oh. What was this? Jags pick up 10, but
with seemingly either 12 people or only 10 on the field when they.
Was that number 26, Ryan Douglas?
No, it was Bus. It was Jason Bernard, yeah.
Pitch out to Cecchio around the edge. And he's got some room. Oh, and there's a block, but it's going to be a flag. Looks like they're going to bring that back for
it is
little block in the back, and he knows
sure
he did it.
I think maybe Mingioni.
Yeah, it's number 6 right there.
Yep, it's Luke Mingioni.
Coming up, one he'd like back, but this is going to be a block in the back. And they do the fist touching in the middle, which is also the blind side block that they call. So that's a 15-yarder. And so the Jags will have it 1st and 15 at their own 40. Less than a minute to go here now, 46 seconds and winding. Mazzaros back to throw. Gets it out to Mingioni in the flat, picks up almost 5 there, but for 2nd and 11 now, and the Jags with some tempo going here. Mazzaros on the keeper, gets it across the 50 into Quakertown territory. But the clock will continue to run now under 10 seconds, and that'll probably do it. They won't even snap the ball here, I don't think.
No, I would think not.
2-1 halftime. So the Jaguars kind of taking care of business here. Some very good, after trading blows the first two possessions, it's all been all Garnet Valley since then, with a great defensive showing, and the Jaguar offense doing what it does, and balanced attack moving down the field and taking advantage. Defense scores a touchdown for him, and we've got a 42-7 lead.
The clock will indeed run in the second half. It'll be a little bit quicker pace here to this second half. We'll also try and get some updated scores. Now we've gotten some updates on who's covering what games and where, so we'll be able to keep tabs on those. We'll try and keep you updated as best we can. Pat mentioned earlier, I did have the opportunity to sit down with head coach Eric Van Wyk. Those interviews normally air pregame. We had some technical difficulties with that, so there's about a 9-minute interview with Coach V-Dubs that will air here at halftime, so stay tuned for that. Got an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Jaguars clinching their 5th straight Central League title last week with the win over Conestoga. Their long streak of unbeaten games now in the Central League, which I think is at 42?
42.
Dating back to October of 2017. But we talked about a handful of things, just the expectations going into the playoffs, how you keep kids locked in week to week in this, lose and go home format of what District 1 football playoffs are. So it's a good interview. Stay tuned and enjoy the Purple Trees from the band.
All right. We'll take it away. Our producer, Kevin Connolly, will bring you the interview with Kevin, or with Coach Van Wyk and Greg coming up here presently.
Hello, everyone. We are indeed back for the Week 11/Week 1 of the PIAA District 1 playoff edition of Interview with the Coach. Coach Van Wyk, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Coach Mink.
Yeah, we'll get right to it. Congratulations to you and the squad on the victory over Conestoga last week. We obviously talked about some of the challenges of coming off the bye week and trying to get back into the routine. Also knowing that a playoff spot was already locked up regardless of seeding or not, that obviously the seeding was dependent on the outcome of that game, but that you were in anyway. So it wasn't a situation where it was a lose and go home, which is where we're at now in the postseason. But I just wanted to congratulate you on the win first and let you talk a little bit about that Conestoga game.
Thank you. Yeah, no, a well-fought game on all three facets of the game. I thought, a lot of times we give a lot of credit to the guys that score touchdowns, right? And rightfully so. They're hard workers. But I think that what really allowed for us to be successful was the guys in the trenches, the Kieran Gallaghers, the Matt Weisendangers, Vincent Manna, just numerous guys up front that continue to play really solid football, play physical. And, because of that, we were able to succeed. And now here we are moving on to the playoffs. So we're really excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, and quickly to talk on those numbers, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge it and congratulate you on not just this year's success, but the recent run for Garnet Valley. We talked about it on the broadcast at the end last week. It is the 5th consecutive Central League championship, this year obviously being shared with Strathaven. The 42nd straight win in the Central League, dating back to just over 5 years now, actually. So it's been a pretty good run. And there's also been postseason success in there with a couple trips to district championship games and actual district championship last year. So just talk about the run, but not just from the standpoint of the success this season and what it means, but the overall sort of the legacy of the program itself and some of those principles that you guys preach to the kids about, knowing sort of who came before them.
Yeah. Well, that you teed it up for me, that standing on the shoulders of giants. That is a phrase that Coach Ricky has said numerous years here. And we take a lot of pride in the history of Garnet Valley football. We take a lot of pride in our alumni. And, it was something that we never really talked about throughout the season, about the streak of wins and Central League titles, but I know all the players knew it in the background. They wanted to prove and make their own mark on the tradition that's been created before them. And I'm really proud of the senior class. They, their phrase this whole year has been prove it. And they certainly did that in the Central League. So I think you're right, Coach. It's something that we always need to, look at and focus on and be proud of. It's hard work to get through the Central League, and we're very proud of what we accomplished. And it really goes hats off to our leaders and our senior groups to get everyone fully bought in, to buy into the beliefs that we have in our program.
Yeah, and a little bit about that history. Pat and I went back and looked, and this is the 16th time in the last 17 years, going back to 2006 when you were a youngster on the squad, that Garnet Valley has made the tournament, whether it was 3A early on, 4A when Garnet Valley moved up, and now most recently 6A. But the one exception being 2010 when they were the first team out, looking in. But that is a little bit of a challenge when the expectation is that, but also to acknowledge the success of getting there every year without just assuming it's going to happen by throwing the helmet out and walking out on the field. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think that's a big belief that we talk about. Control what you can control. We can't control how other teams are going to react to us, but we can control how we show up on the field each day. And you're right. We've had a lot of success in the past, and it would be easy to just say, hey, we're Garnet Valley, we got to go do this. But it really comes down to the Monday through Thursday. What are we doing throughout practice? What are we doing to get our bodies and minds ready to accomplish the task at hand on Friday night? And once again, it really comes back to this senior class buying into it and giving us this opportunity to now move on to the playoffs.
I got a two-faceted question for you about the playoffs and the postseason. You look at the 16-team field in District 1 for 6A, and there are a bunch of rematches, not between just teams who have played during the season, but a couple of rematches between teams who just played last week. We've a couple times, I know Garnet Valley last year played Haverford a second time. A few years back, they played Ridley a second time in a league game. So talk, if you will, about actually having an opponent, that's foreign to both teams. You guys have Quakertown this week, which is a Suburban 1 team. There is some familiarity there from a matchup last year in round 3, a matchup a few years prior to that with Quakertown, but specifically having the opportunity to play someone that you don't see year in and year out, versus, CB East, CB West, and teams like that have to rematch previous matchups from the week.
Yeah, it's, I think it's certainly tougher to be in their guys' shoes, right? To have game plan for a team for an entire week, go through the game, win or loss, and then you realize that, hey, next week we're playing the same exact team. That's got to be really tough for them. And it's something that I guess I could say I wouldn't wish on anybody, because it really, I can imagine the similarities and the amount of work that needs to go in again, seeing that. When you get to play a team from out of your area, it's exciting in my opinion. Coach Boyd always talks about the PIAA 6A District 1 playoffs are the best playoffs in the world. And I really like how he says that all the time, because I think it's true. There's so many different leagues in our District 1, and there's so many good teams that it's really fun to get the opportunity to play a Suburban 1 team, the powerhouses that are up there, Quakertown being an example. It's really fun to get to see film of a team you didn't get to see at all. And you really, this whole week has been game planning, but it's a lot more, I don't know, it's a little more fun when you get to see a coach you've never seen before, obviously in my shoes, but playing a team that we're a little bit familiar with last year, but overall we're excited for a new challenge and get the opportunity to play against.
And speaking specifically about Quakertown, they came in as the 16th seed. Obviously, Garnet Valley was the 1 seed and has home field as long as they survive. But Quakertown struggled early. They had some turnover. I know you had an opportunity at the seeding meeting to speak with their head coach and the discussion of the similarities between the two teams in the number of starters and seniors that both teams graduated last year. And if you look at their schedule, they had a few losses early. They finished 5-5. But it's a team that really sort of came on as the season went along with getting those young guys into the system and getting them some playing time. And just talk a little bit about the Quakertown matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. I mean, just thinking, I feel like I've rewatched last year's film at least 5 times because they punched us in the mouth last year. I think the final score was 55-39, something crazy with a high scoring. And that, we're certainly not used to that in a typical playoff game around Garnet Valley. So this team is impressive. They got a running back, number 4, that they spread out in the wide receiver spots a lot. And he's electric. I know he's being recruited by Delaware and some other big schools. So he's definitely the guy that we need to key on and really lock in on. But as you said, they might be a young team, but they're an athletic and big and strong and physical team. So losing the amount of seniors that they had last year, certainly I'm sure took some time to get used to, but their coaching staff has really developed this team. And we're ready for the same battle that we had last year. And at halftime, I'm pretty sure we were down last year. And I know we got to be prepared and ready to roll right from the start to play our best ability this week.
What's fun? November football is fun. District 1 playoffs, as you mentioned, Coach Boyd talks about all the time. It's a fun tournament. It's a challenging tournament. There are some fantastic high school football teams. So good luck this week, and hopefully we'll be back here discussing the week 2 matchup next week for the Jags. Thanks,
all right,
Coach.
Thank you for your time.
Welcome back to Moda Frank Stadium for the second half of this opening round District 1 PIAA contest between the Garnet Valley Jaguars and the Quakertown Panthers. Jaguars leading this one 42-7 as we get ready to start the second half. Greg Mink will be joining me shortly. Had a little halftime errands to take care of with the team. But again, Jags now looking at a 35-point lead. So this second half will be played with a running clock, which means only change of possession, timeouts, and penalties will stop the clock. The rest of the time, the clock will run. Jaguars, of course, lost the toss at the beginning, but Quakertown deferred, so the Jaguars will get the ball to start the second half. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Quakertown deferred, so they will get the ball to start the second half. And we welcome back Greg Mink to the box.
Or somebody that looks just like him.
Yep. And sounds like him.
Obviously, you know the score of this one, 42-7. The clock will run with some limited opportunities at stoppages, penalties, timeouts, injuries, change of possession. But will run for the most part. And we now have some spotters at these other games in District 1, so we'll keep you updated on those scores as best we can. Garnet Valley's offsides.
Oh.
Not allowed to cross the 40 before the ball's kicked.
So with that, they're going to have to walk it back to the 35. Max Morris. Back deep for Quakertown. Comers kicks this one hard, fielded at the 10. This is Max Morris. Brings it up to about the 30.
In that Springford-Ridley game, again, Ridley had a 28-14 lead at the half. Springfield came out on their opening possession, got the ball, drove the length of the field, cut it to 28-20. So that's a single-score game. Again, Coatesville and Downingtown East now tied at 15. Downingtown East with 15 unanswered in the second quarter to get that game knotted up.
Just give to Etherton around the right side. Picks up about 7 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Panthers. Jaguars starting defense for the most part still on the field, and the Quakertown starters definitely in the game here. Masucci looks to throw, and he's rolling out. Floats one. Oh, and a good catch on the sideline.
Wow, that was a really nice throw on the move by Masucci, and yeah, he did. He caught it. Got the guy. He might have gotten both feet down.
Adam
NFL
Strail
catch
on the catch, first down inside Garnet Valley territory at the 45. This is Etherton around the side, and he's got the first down and more. He's down along the sideline, the 20, the 10, 5 touchdown. Quakertown that quickly. 10 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and Quakertown rips off a quick score here.
That's exactly what Quakertown wanted to get themselves going here. Quick score. That's what you want to take advantage of when you defer and get the ball. Ooh, and Etherton's hobbling off.
Tired of running.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't look like he was hobbling when he was taking off down that sideline. You hope he's okay.
Wackerman in for the extra point. This one's up and good. And the Jaguars lead 42-14 on that. Important to remind you that once that 35-point margin has been achieved and the clock starts running, they do not turn that off. So regardless of the quick score there that brings the spread back to within 28, this clock will continue to run.
Yes, and you just saw the huddle. The camera was focused there on Coach Van Wyk, head coach Van Wyk, speaking with the defensive unit as they were coming off the field. He was voicing some displeasure with the tackling, I'm sure, on that last touchdown run by Etherton. And if you're going to value, they've shown it all year that even when they've been on a running clock going into the second half, they've kept that starting defense on the field for that first defensive possession, usually just to give them a chance to get back off the field and turn it over to the younger offense. They will certainly not be happy with a 3-play, minute and 44-second drive?
Wackerman kicks this one. It's fielded at the 10. Brought up across the 25 to about the 27. And looks like the number ones on offense are going to go back in here.
Yeah, looks like the starting unit. Panarello, McDowell, Checchio. Saros, and all the big boys up front. Manna, Bledsoe, Wiesendanger. It is. It's starting O.
Yep. Second man through, double dive. Good enough for the first down.
Downingtown West now pulling away pretty substantially. It's 35-7 in the fourth quarter in that game.
Number 7, Joe Checchio on the carry. Pickup of 11. First down, Garnet Valley. Jet sweep. Oh, snowed under. Number 11, Anthony Ferrugio in the Jaguar backfield. It seemed like
it's just a missed block.
Missed block or missed assignment. It was. So that'll make it 2nd and 17. Pitch out to the edge. Good pursuit. Oh, but Bernard does not go down until he gets the ball up to the 40-yard line. Third and 5 for the Jaguars. And this one around the corner as well. Oh, and a big-time face mask. There is he. Larreris gets ripped to the ground by the face mask.
And I don't think Reagan Payne's trying to do it necessarily. He's just trying to get his hand in there and get Larreris down. Yeah, coming off the block, and it's just the first thing he grabs. He realizes it.
Yeah, pounding the ground.
Fortunately, Larreris gets up. Doesn't look like he's injured from it.
So that'll add 15 to the end of that run, and the Jags in business at the 34-yard line of Quakertown. Clock running, 7:42. Nazzaro's throw goes up top to Van Horn. It's complete, and a touchdown, Drew Van Horn. Play action there to the seam that very familiar to Jaguar fans, with Van Horn and McDowell, the tight ends, the beneficiaries of those patterns, and Van Horn gets in. Comer's kick up and good. Jaguars now lead 49-14. 7 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
Comer's in that Jag PAT field goal unit since his return. Have been spot on. 13 for 13 now. Joe Cecchio with the snap. Tyler Lasek as the holder. All the blocking up front have done a nice job. Been a couple of close calls where guys coming off the edge for Quakertown were real close to getting a hand on it, but they've looked well so far. Quite a game going on out in Collegeville, Pat. I just got another update that Springford has now scored again and tied the game, got the 2-point extra point, and has tied that game with Ridley at 28.
Wow.
So that is a shootout late in the third quarter out there in Collegeville at Springford.
Comer set to kick. Kicks this one
Nice
deep.
ball.
That one fielded inside the 5 by Morris. Oh, and a great tackle downfield by
Chris Faith? Yeah, it's number 28, Chris Faith.
28, Chris Faith.
One of the Jaguars' starting wide receivers. In fact, both he and Kevin Green rotate at split end for the Jags. They're both on that kick coverage unit. Faith did a nice job of keeping inside contain and then making the tackle.
Oh, and this run up the middle picks up about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 for Quakertown. Masucci on the keeper, nowhere to go. He's hit. Maybe a pickup of another, maybe a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 7.
Perkiomen Valley has now opened a 56-6 lead on Owen J. Roberts in the number 2 versus number 15 matchup. So that one's all but decided. Perk Valley will move on.
Masucci looking, and he's going to take off and run himself, and he falls short of the first down. Gets it across the 25. Good pressure, couldn't quite get to him. Tackle, I guess, credited to Jake McDowell, tripping him up. So it's going to be 4th and 4.
For all those enjoying the score updates we're giving you, I got to give a big thank you to my buddy Chris Brennan, who's giving me updates on almost all those. I appreciate it, Chris.
Masucci with a kick, another one. That fair caught by Mingione around the 35-yard line.
He's a good punter.
Yeah. Now the Jags trotting out some fresh faces on offense. Lineman Braden Green, Max D'Antonio. And it'll be Aiden Boyce coming in at quarterback. Pitch out on the right side. This is that Kohler?
Dean Kohler.
Dean Kohler on the carry with a pickup of, looks like, exactly 10 yards as the referees move the change.
Well, we knew they weren't going to measure. Dean Kohler's a pretty impressive young sophomore running back, defensive back for the Jaguars.
Sophomore, 5'8", 137. Boyce gives to the second man through. That's Sacamando. Closely related to the Sacamandis, which is really the last, which is the vowel at the end of his name.
I-O. An update that Strathaven, finally saw an update on Strathaven in 5A action. They are the 2 seed, with Upper Dublin being the 1 seed in District 1, and Strathaven has a 35-7 lead late in that game.
And this give off the left side for some positive yardage. Pickup of about 5 or 6. Make this 3rd and a short 2. Trevor Sacamandi that time. Looks like Tommy Giuliano in there on the offensive line as well. Clock running under 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Pitch out to Kohler. Oh, and he shakes a tackle and gets up more than enough for the first down. Gets it down to the Quakertown 35-yard line. .12-yard pickup.
Last year when this sophomore class was freshmen, the starting backfield for the freshman team was Dean Kohler and Luke Vaughn, the 2 sophomore running backs. Each suffered season-ending injuries for the freshman squad, which kept them down some bodies almost the entire season.
Well, there's the counter, but that one played pretty well by the Quakertown defense.
Nowhere to go for Jack Burba.
Number 45, Reese Sulke, on the tackle there for Quakertown.
Assuming that there was a missed block up front. Offensive line coach Rick Stroop is voicing some displeasure at a missed assignment on that counter. Springfield is up 42-7 in their 5A game against Phoenixville. So the Central League teams are handling their business at the 5A level.
Pitch out to Kohler. Got room on the edge. He's run out of bounds after a pickup of about 6.
Well, I got a score update. Downingtown East come all the way back. They got a safety late in the third quarter. Now have a 17-15 lead on Coatesville.
Ooh.
Upset brewing.
Yeah. What's the time on that one?
3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third. The downside of our game moving so quickly because of the running clock is our game's going to end before any of those.
3rd and 7 for the Jaguars. And still on his feet and rolling inside the 10.
Sacamandi.
Oh, fighting his way down to the goal line is Trevor Sacamandi.
Wow.
He takes the ref with him.
That was a physical run. We talked about it last week about the running backs, coaches, and offensive coaches wanting their running backs to finish plays, and he certainly does on that.
And the referee tripped over his feet. And that's the end of the third quarter. That is truly the referee's nightmare there. Down to the inside the 5, and they got to flip the field. Jaguars knocking on the door again. Take an opportunity to, again, thank our sponsors, the S2 STEM, Century 21, the real estate store, and the law offices of DiOrio and Serini for their support for our program, and of course the Garnet Valley Football Alumni Association that sponsors these broadcasts and brings them to every week, and our partners at SFBN, including our crack producer Kevin Conley, tonight with assistance from Carlton Wiggins and Jorge Reyes, and of course our own Goody Marcuson on the cameras, getting you these action shots and the great sideline shots that people seem to be enjoying a whole bunch this year. So thank you all for your continued support.
Jags with a 1st and goal from the 3.
Yeah, they're saying
to start this fourth quarter.
Sacamandi stepped out at the 3 before he rolled down to the 1. And the give goes to Kohler, reaching for the goal line, but not quite getting there. They're going to walk this right up at the 1. Inside the 1. So Jags 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. Boyce gives to Sacamandi, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, he earned the right.
Yeah.
He got most of the yardage on that drive, on that long run. Physical run, physical finish, so it's fitting. They let him finish. Oh, we've got a new battery out here. Looks like the 2nd PAT unit. They've got Kevin Green snapping to Nolan Carroll with Luke Mingione kicking. We switch to the left side with
Another
the lefty.
lefty, huh? Snap up. Ball down, kick good.
Mingione now 1 for 1. Got another score update. Upper Dublin is up 35-0, so they're cruising in their game in round 1 action 5A. We mentioned it earlier in the season, I continue to mention it, that Garnet Valley does not have the driver's education program going on this year. So any parents out there wanting some driving instruction, one of our very own Garnet Valley families, Dan Heavens at A&B Driving School. Anybody has a child preparing for their license, reach out to A&B, 610-358-5577. The completion of the program, it's a 6-lesson course. At the completion of that program, the student has the opportunity to take the driving test with Dan Heavens rather than at the DMV. So it makes it a little bit easier for the child to, at least logistically, to get their driver's license. So, again, if you're in need, look up A&B Driving School.
So after the Minjoni extra point, Comers does come back on to kick off. This one has some air under it. Fielded inside the 20, brought up across the 25, but again, pretty good coverage by the Garnet Valley special teams. Return of about 7 yards. And the Panthers will start at their own 28-yard line.
Comers has never kicked so much in his life. He's got an interesting score update. Pennsbury was losing 14-0 in a major upset brewing to North Penn, the 3-14, but Pennsbury has stormed back and taken a 21-14 lead with only 5 minutes left in the fourth.
Give up the middle. Jaguars staunch defense gives up just 2 yards on that one. 2nd and 8.
Garnet Valley offensive coordinator Rich Boyd tells the kids all the time that they're, in his opinion, nothing quite like, high school-wise, the District 1 football tournament. It is a lose-and-go-home situation.
This pitch out on the left side to who would that be? Aiden Whiteley, number 44. On that play, good for 5 yards. It'll be, or good for 3 yards, 3rd and 5.
Number 27, Luke Vaughn, checks in at linebacker for the Jags. 28, Chris Faith out here at cornerback.
Oh, there's an interception for Garnet Valley.
Roman Panarella with the pick.
Roman Panarella.
Wow, he read that perfectly, stepped in front.
Yep.
That is picture-perfect execution. That's a really nice play.
So that's a turnover on downs. Or no, an interception. The Jags will start here at the 38-yard line of Quakertown.
Number 2, Luke O'Donohue, lod in the game at QB.
There you go. O'Donohue keeps it around the right side. It's good for the first down. He gets down to the 25-yard line. Luke O'Donohue, 6 foot, 150-pound sophomore. and he's being the PA address has an old roster and is calling Luke O'Donohue Nolan Carroll, but we know better. You can kind of see that red hair sticking out from under the helmet. This give goes inside. Pickup of about 4, 2nd and 6. Roman Panarella checks in.
Wow, Downingtown East scored again and now has a 24-15 lead on Coatesville.
Ooh. And here goes O'Donohue again, right?
Yeah.
O'Donohue right, O'Donohue left. And moving the chains one more time. First down, Garnet Valley at the 12-yard line.
And again, we're going to be off the air prior to the completion of these other games. So we'll give you one last score check as we can find them before those games go off.
They might be streaming them as well. You may be able to find it. And here's a tough run inside the 5 for the Jaguars. That carry by number 27, Luke Vaughn.
Yep. He was one of those two JV, is one of the two JV running backs that I mentioned. Suffered season-ending foot injuries, lower body injuries last season as freshman, and he's still working himself back, but it's just great to see him out on the field. There was question whether he was even going to be able to play this fall. Jack Burba.
Yeah.
Touchdown for the senior slot back, Jack Burba.
So we see this comes into focus just in time.
Yeah, Burba just trusts his speed and gets to the corner and gets himself across the goal line.
Minjoni out for another extra point attempt. Uh-oh. Somebody missing from the formation here.
That is one of the things with special teams when you've got a bunch of young guys coming in and out of the games in situations like this. They don't always remember that they're supposed to be on the field.
Minjoni's kick up and good. He's 2 for 2. The Jaguars now lead 63-14 with 6.5 minutes to go in this one. So the Jags, that score is 63-14. You know, some people tomorrow when they read the box score or something, they'll say, you know, why'd Garnet Valley run that score up out there? And as you can see if you're tuned in, you know, you don't tell your team not to play. You get your starters on the sideline and you rest, but you let those other guys go out there and do what they do, and they're executing and scoring points here. So, and making interceptions. That's just all good. It's not disrespectful. It's just football.
Just got another score update. Springford has now come all the way back. They were trailing 28-14 at the half against Ridley. They outscored the Green Raiders 21-0 in the third quarter and now hold a 35-28 lead going into the fourth. So Springford is up on Ridley. Downingtown East is up on Coatesville. Downingtown West with the win over Conestoga. And Downingtown East again holding that 24-15 9-point lead over Coatesville.
Well, that's this side of the bracket. And Comer's kick goes inside the 10. Whiteley brings it up. Oh, he's still on his feet. He gets it up across the 30. And with 6:19 left to go in this game, the Jaguar defense comes out.
Come on, Comers. He's tired. He's jogging off the field like he's worked hard. Well, he has taken every kickoff, so let's see. 9 times 7 is 63. 9, 10 kickoffs on the night. A whole new defensive backfield in for the Jags.
This give around the right side to number 44, Aiden Whiteley. Picks up about 5, call it. 2nd and 5.
Sophomore
long 5.
Cornerbacks Cody Weist and Ryan Douglas in at corner. The safeties are Nolan Carroll, Roman Panarella. Linebackers Drew Keaveney and Joe Fagan. Luke Vaughn. We'll get you some other numbers as we can see them.
Inside handoff. Pickup of 2, 3rd and 3.
Number 87, Jake Peterson, also in at linebacker.
Clock running under 5 minutes now to go in this one. Pass, incomplete. Intended for number 5, Riley Kishbaugh.
Number 77, Braden Green, and number 96, Damian Seng, both in on the D-line. Number 21, Abi Vaca. I think we got you the entire defensive unit that's out there right now.
Oh, quick kick.
Oh, that's
and
a
they
disaster.
got a piece of that one. Nobody really knew what to do with it. Garnet Valley finally drops on it. There's the, I guess Quakertown couldn't advance it, but Garnet Valley might
can.
have been able to, right? They can?
Oh, no, actually, who did it hit? It hit Quakertown was the one punting it, and it hit a Garnet Valley player. So it's actually a live ball at that point. Garnet Valley, oh, yeah, that would actually, if it hit Sang and was laying there on the ground, that was actually a live ball for Masucci to pick up, but he still would have had to advance it and pick up the first down.
Right,
so
right.
one of those crazy rules that not a lot of players understand.
And broadcasters.
Included, correct.
This good pickup on first down. About 8 yards. Second and 2 for the Jags. Clock running under 3:20 to go.
Also want to give a thank you to Joe Halloran, who's giving score updates to me as well. Can't do it all on my own, so I've got a bunch of people flooding me with out-of-town scores, so thanks to everyone who's helping out.
That give up the middle. Looks like it good enough for the first. Number 39, Nick Carbone.
It is. Young running back in the game for the Jags. Brennan Devlin at QB. Looks like the Jags are just going to run the clock out.
Devlin kneels on that one. Clock running now under 2 minutes.
And as it stands right now, Garnet Valley will obviously be here as the 1 seed. They will remain here at Mo DeFrank Stadium and be able to host the remaining games as long as they keep winning here at the Mo. But as it stands right now, Springford with that 35-28 early fourth quarter lead, it would be the Springford team coming down here as the 8 seed, so the seeds would hold pat in that matchup.
Yep.
8 versus 1 here next Friday night.
Take another knee here, and we talked about this the second season. It's the District 1 tournament, and it's one and done. So this it's always a moment for the seniors on the losing squad, knowing this is their last high school football game, and much respect to the team, the players and coaches over across the other side of the field, and obviously happy that the Jaguars will advance. Coach Van Wyk will lead this team to its 10th victory of the year, and he is off to a stellar start. I think he's the only
10-0 coach?
undefeated coach ever in Garnet Valley history.
So far, so good for the Jags. That was an impressive win. They went out and took care of business. They executed when they had to on offense. Gave a couple of big plays on D, which I'm sure the coaches will figure out what happened there on film. And got out of the game, it looks like, injury-wise. Healthy, got some guys back, and looking to keep it rolling into round 2. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Can't say enough about the support.
Thank you again to our partners at SFBN, Kevin Conley, Carlton Wiggins, Jorge Reyes, and our own Goody Marcuson. We'll see you again next week. Same time, same channel. Go Jags. Good night, everybody. For Greg Mink, I'm Pat Patterson. See you next week.